Welcome to Titan HST's Business Continuity Today, hosted by Todd DeVoe, where planning meets reality.
Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are at in this fine world. And I am Todd DeVoe, Director of Emergency Management at Titan HST, and I'm also, an educator at the post-secondary level. And learning and sharing what I've learned is a passion for me. And today, today's the start of, or I guess yesterday was, or 2 days ago, is the start of National Wildfire Month. And even if you're like, in an area where you go, oh, we're never going to have a wildfire. Oh, they can impact you. And we'll get into that a little bit. But the idea is, do you have a plan for wildfires? So I'm going to read this to you really quick. So the Southwest, we moved from the idea of having a fire season to a 365-day a year fire threat. And this is why you need a plan. Now, what I'm talking about, the idea is, are you able, does your plan impact you, or those wildland fires, should say, impact you no matter where you're at? Well, let's talk about Paramount Studios for a minute. I got to interview them after the Irvine fire that happened a couple years ago, where they were directly impacted by that, not because their studios were impacted by the fire, but their employees were impacted by the fire and couldn't necessarily get into work. And this is when remote work was going on. And so there's a whole bunch of issues that are happening with them, and them to be able to track where their employees were going, to help them, not keeping track of them, but to help them, to make sure that they're going through that, being able to get safe and whatnot. And one of the executives actually invited the impacted employees to stay at their house. So that's what I'm talking about. Wildland fire, even if you don't live in the WUI or live in an area that is directly impacted by the fire, or your office is not there, your organization could be directly impacted. So there's roughly 60,000 wildfires, and it burns about 8 million acres each year, according to the National Interagency Fire Center. Wildland fires are more destructive and deadly than ever, which is true. So, I live here in California. Obviously, wildland fire is one of those things that's critical, to plan for, no matter where you're at over here. But if you take a look at the Pacific Northwest as well, their fire season, Alberta, Canada had big fires. Tennessee had a huge fire, if you remember that went over into to where Dollywood was, right? Burning, I forget how many homes were burnt and acres were burnt during that. Texas has wildfires. Florida has wildfires. These areas that you don't think of having wildfires. Right now, as we speak, there's a huge wildfire burning through New Mexico. So this is why it's really important to go through and take a look at your organization, and especially if you're a large organization, multi-state organization, what are you doing to plan for wildfires? And we are putting out, Titan HST is putting out some information this month on wildfires specifically. So if you are a customer of ours, you'll be getting direct email on it. But if you'd like more information, you can please reach out to us, and I'd be happy to share some of the documentation that we have. Planning for the wildfire isn't just the idea of, okay, are my people safe? Yep, that's important. It's also planning for evacuation. What do you need to take from your physical building, if you live in or work in the WUI? What do you need to take from your physical building, right, to be able to move to the next location? And where is your next location, right? So have that part of your plan. Do you know where you can go? Do you have, say, like a contract with a WeWorks or Regency type place? Could you all respond to that location and start your business again that day up there? What do you need to be able to go forward and work? We talked about the idea of having this go kit or having stuff put in maybe in a storage area where you can go and grab it, boxes full of equipment, even if it's down to pencil and paper. When I was running a program for a city, what we wanted to be able to still continue to give services to our customers, which are the citizens, the residents that live in the city, to be able to keep giving services to them. So we even brought down to what are the essentials with paper and pencil if we need to keep giving services. So think about your core services that you give, right? And are you able to quickly and stream well in a in a way that doesn't really interrupt as much as could you continue doing services? If you're running stuff on the internet, do you have the ability to maybe say work with laptops and move that? Are your servers off site, right? If you are doing internet stuff, so are you using like AWS for instance, and are they impacted by wildland fire, right? Or could they be impacted by it? So think about this. So again, it's not just the myopic area where you are. Like if you are, say, in downtown, midtown Manhattan, the idea of a wildland fire probably impacting you at that point might not be happening. However, what if you have, you know, structures other places, part of the country? So I'm going to pick on the NFL for now, right? If you're the NFL and you are in, New York, yep, you're pretty good. But what about a stadium that's in an area that could burn, or a Major League Baseball with like Dodger Stadium or something like that? So think that's what you need to be thinking about is what is your complete global operation and how do you plan for those impacts of a wildland fire. You know, we've all seen the videos of these fires moving fast and creating smoke, right? The other issue here that you could be miles away from the fire, and there could be actually health issues for people who have asthma or other respiratory issues, right? And so you need to plan also, are your employees in an area that have that they have respiratory issues that are going to be impacted by that, and how do you plan for that? So what you're planning for is in addition to the evacuation aspect of it, if you are in an area that would be impacted, but you're also planning for your reduction in work staff, right? Can they get to work? Are the roads closed? Are their families impacted? Are their health impacted? So you keep that in mind as you're doing your plan for wildland fire. It's not just this, okay, the flame is coming. There's the other things that are associated with it. I think this is where, when we're looking at planning, specifically on business continuity, that we have to look at the greater threat to what impacts us than just that physical threat of flame burning down our facilities. So, as this National Wildfire Month, I want you guys to just kind of keep this in the back of your mind and what are you planning for. The other thing too is you should take this opportunity to look at fire drills that you have for your organization. Maybe this is a time to practice those. You should probably do it twice a year anyway. Maybe this is the time to practice a fire drill for your organization, for your buildings, for your campus. See how they work, and this is that time to do it during National Wildfire Month. Now, I know this sounds like like a regional issue, say like earthquake, right? It really isn't. This is something that impacts every part of the country in some form or fashion. Even New York, upstate New York, the first wildfire I ever was part of was a wildfire that was in the Catskills. So, yeah, that's New York. And yep, so they have them as well. So it doesn't just impact the Southwest and those dried, arid areas. Now, with the increase in the drought out here, we will see an increase in wildland fires in the next couple of years. They're going to be more intense because there's a lot of fuel out there to burn. So I hope everybody can think, stop, think about what's going on, have a plan, There are resources out there to help you do the Ready, Set, Go program that we have here in the areas that do burn on a regular basis. And please use those resources, right? They're in the show notes. You can find them just by doing a quick Google search on Ready, Set, Go, and how you can keep your family, your friends, your colleagues, and your business safe and ready during a wildland fire. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today. And consider using Titan HST for your communications need, because communicating your event and what you're doing is critical during these times. Titan HST is the great platform for that. And I really hope that you guys stay safe and stay hydrated.